Looks like we're good to go. Awesome. Flatline MMA podcast episode number 23. The boys are rolling. Like Taylor Swift said, no one likes you when you're 23, but everyone likes us. You guys know the deal. Flatline MMA brought to you by CBD Medic. I'm not even going to go into a promo. You guys know this by now. If you want CBD products, hit us up. Click the link below for 10% off. Use the code Flatline10. Packed show for you. We got a ton going on in the MMA world, so we're just going to get right into this here. Last weekend, we had the fight for the vacant flyweight title, men's flyweight title, which was originally held by Triple C, Henry Cejudo. They finally stripped him of it, or did they? Joe Benavidez took on Davidson Figueiredo for the men's flyweight title. Unfortunately, Figueiredo missed weight, so he was unable to win the title. So it was either Benavidez was winning or the title was still vacant. Honestly, I thought it was a great fight up until the knockout. Flyweights, these guys are so fast, so friggin' quick, strong. I thought, Benavidez was reaching a lot. And I thought that was going to be his downfall. I saw it. I thought he did pretty well in that first round, and I think he was reaching a little bit too much. Obviously, Figueiredo, that man's good. He's got lightning in his hands. 17-1, right? Like the guy, he's a winner. So Figueiredo getting the knockout in the second round, which was tough to see because I know, Joey B's one of the UFC's beloved. Everyone wanted to see him win. This was his third time going for the title shot. Kev, just real quick, we'll touch upon this one. And because Figueiredo won, the title is still vacant. Apparently, there's talks of a possible rematch between these two, just because there was obviously a lot of different factors in it. Figueiredo missing weight. There was a possible headbutt in there that kind of, dazed, Joey B. I know that's really not an excuse. I know it happens in fighting, but that, I think, played a lot in that knockout. Like, he was dazed. You could see it, but real quick, Kevin, what did you think about this fight? And what do you think about, obviously Figueiredo missing weight and kind of messing up the whole fight?
Yeah, the whole missing weight thing, I mean, it happens in the sport, but you expect, if it's a championship fight, you expect that they're going to make weight. That there's a lot on the line for it. So that did kind of stink. I mean, Figueiredo is a big dude, 125 as it is. So, you got to figure that making that weight's not easy for him. And maybe it was just a tough camp. He wasn't able to get the weight off. Who knows? But overall, that was a fun fight. That's one I'd love to see again. I mean, it was fast paced, a lot of action. Benavidez came out, high intensity for pretty much the whole first round. He ended up getting taken down. He got put in some danger. Almost got caught in that armbar. That was pretty scary for him. And but you could see Figueiredo was kind of catching him as he was coming in with some of his strikes. Since he's like the shorter fighter, he kind of had to jump in with some of his punches. Yeah. And you could see Figueiredo's timing that. And even though they weren't the most powerful punches, he was catching them. Yeah. Most of the time when he was coming in, and that's what I was thinking was going to be that end of the fight. I was thinking one of the times he was going to time it just perfect and knock him out with a counter punch. But in the second they had some scramble. It looked like Figueiredo they were clinched and Figueiredo kind of shucked them by and they knocked heads maybe. And Benavidez is bleeding. You saw him wipe his head right before the final punch of the fight. So I think he was more focused on what was going on with the cut and all that. And just like that 1 second, like that one lapse, ended up getting knocked out and whatever.
Yeah, tough to see because, I feel like everyone does love Benavidez. He's been a pioneer of the sport, pioneer of the flyweight division, right? He's had his crack at Mighty Mouse. He's fought everyone and their mother in that division. Mm-hmm. And the guy wins, you know what I mean? Unfortunately, 0-3 in title fights. But are you up? I know you said you'd love to see this again. You think it is fair to just kind of run this one back, just due to the, you know, the weight cutting issues, the possible headbutt? Because personally, I'd love to see this run back.
Yeah, I mean, since it was a knockout, it's kind of hard to make a case.
Yeah.
You know, I mean, it is a fight I'd love to see again, but maybe not like an immediate rematch. Maybe give somebody else a chance, you know, to fight Figueiredo and determine the champ from there, and then Benavidez go and fight them.
Yeah.
But yeah, I mean, it had the makings to be, you know, a great 5-round fight. It was just that headbutt and that little, just that small error just took his eye off of the fight for a second, started worrying about the cut, and he ended up getting knocked out.
Yeah, I mean, that's why this sport is so exciting, right? In the blink of, you know, really literally a second, anything can change.
Yeah.
That's what makes this so crazy. So curious to see what Dana White's plan is to do with this fight. You know, obviously you always hear talks of the flyweight division being shut down. And Henry Cejudo kind of came back and he saved it, but now Henry Cejudo's fighting bantamweight. They stripped him of the belt. Now it's still vacant, but obviously they need a champion in that division. So curious to see what Dana White is going to do next, whether he does the rematch for this or whether Cejudo does come down and he fights Figueiredo. Like, I'm not sure what they're going to do. So I think either way, it's going to be exciting. So yeah, I mean, overall, I thought this was a good card. I mean, you had 2 big wins, I think, which was important for the likes of 2 female fighters, Megan Anderson and Felicia Spencer, right? They're in the featherweight division looking to dethrone Amanda Nunes. And I think after watching those 2 fights, you know, both of those girls made arguments to fight Nunes next. You know, personally, I look at Felicia Spencer. She did beat Megan Anderson. I think it was a little while back. So I do think that she's kind of next in line. But also, Felicia Spencer just lost to Cyborg. You know what I mean? So I look at that, and it's like, okay, does Megan deserve it? So that one's a good one. So I'm excited to see that play out because obviously we all want to see new contenders, new blood for, you know, Amanda Nunes to beat up. So excited about that. And then moving on to this weekend's festivities, we got UFC 248. Not one. We got 2 title fights on the line, headlined by Israel Adesanya taking on Yoel Romero for the middleweight championship of the world. And in the co-main event, we have China's own Weili Zhang taking on Joanna Jędrzejczyk for the women's strawweight title. So UFC 248, really, really good card. Super impressed with it. Just kind of going through some names. Headlining the prelims, we got Sugar Sean O'Malley coming back from 2-year suspension. I think everyone is excited to see this kid. I think he was, you know, starting to answer those questions. You know, can he live up to the hype? He's finally like up in his competition, right? The kid's undefeated. So, you know, he's got a lot to prove on Saturday night. You got guys like Deron Wynn on the card. I know originally Derek Brunson versus Edmund Shabazian was on there. I know that got canceled. That got moved. I think that's on 249, I believe. But you got wild men like Alex Oliveira, you know, Max Griffin, Magny. We got some good names on there. Darnouche. So this card overall, super impressed with it. But let's just get right into the good stuff. Let's get into the co-main event. We got the women's strawweight championship. Weili Zhang, the champion, taking on former champion Joanna Jędrzejczyk. Weili Zhang, she started her career off 0-1. She's won 20 straight fights. Just absolutely dismantled Jessica Andrade to win the title. And then you got Joanna on the other side, who, the boogie woman, already a champ, looking to be a 2-time champ. You know, started her career off 14-0, right? Dismantled everyone. You know, had a little run-in with Rose, right? Got back on the winning ways after that. Had a shot at Valentina for another belt. That didn't go her way. So really now she's just looking to make things right. She had a dominant win over Michelle Waterson, and now she's looking to take the belt from Weili Zhang. Kev, what do you think about these 2 warriors going at it? Because, dude, this is a fun-ass fight, and I can't wait.
Yeah, I know. Every time Joanna fights, it's always exciting. You know, she's so fast, and her cardio is insane. So she's going to be prepared for a 5-round fight. I don't know how many 5-rounders Weili Zhang has under her belt, so that could be a question for her. But I don't know. Like when we've seen Joanna lose, it's always against another striker that can control the pace of the fight, and I think Weili Zhang can do something like that. She could probably replicate, kind of how Rose fought her in that second fight. And she hits with power too, Weili Zhang. So that's going to be another thing for Joanna, because she has been knocked out before. So that's a possibility in this fight. I mean, I don't know. It's a toss-up. It really is.
Yeah, I mean, I look at these two girls. They're the top of their, divisions right now. Two of the scariest women on the planet. Weili Zhang really kind of came out of nowhere, right? She doesn't have a ton of experience in the UFC. Only 4 fights, right? Her 4th fight was for the belt, so it's impressive. And she took out a formidable opponent in Jessica Andrade, who beat up on Rose Namajunas, you know what I mean? And Rose is one of the toughest girls on the planet. So I look at Weili and, obviously being from different culture, being from China, I think it's just super impressive how, she's just fit in so well and built this fan base. And I feel like she's got, a ton of support behind her. People want to see that. Obviously, first, Chinese champion in the U.S., in the UFC, which is amazing. And I look at her; she's a friggin' beast, man. Her training is ridiculous. She's from a different planet, man. And she's big. I think she's bigger than Joanna. I think it's visibly, you could just see that. But I look at the other end and I look at Joanna, and she's just an absolute tank. She doesn't give up. And, for the first 14 fights of her career, she looked unbeatable, right? Yeah. And like you said, she ran into Rose, another striker, and I wouldn't say she got exposed. She had trouble with it. Obviously, they did the rematch. She had trouble with that again. But Rose is always dangerous. I mean, we saw how she just dismantled Michelle Watterson. That was a beatdown. And I think if we're going by experience, Joanna's got the experience. Mm-hmm. I think she defended her belt five different times. Weili's going for her first title defense. There's a lot of nerves on her end. With Joanna, I feel like it's, she's got nothing to lose anymore. So this is, her 3rd belt she's fighting for, right? She's been here plenty of times. Weili's got the pressure in her hand. She's not fighting at home anymore. When she won the belt, she was in China. Mm-hmm. It's in Vegas. Spotlight's going to be on her again, taking on an absolute legend, one of the GOATs in women's MMA. So with that said, my pick, Weili Zhang, knockout, 2nd round.
Yeah, another thing that I forgot to mention too is the weight cuts with Joanna.
Weight cuts, yep. Forgot about that.
Even though she performed well, and was her last fight Watterson?
Last fight was Watterson, yep. She
last fight.
Off the W.
Even though she performed well, she did not look good on the scale at all.
There was some scares there, I remember.
Yeah, she just, I don't know, it just looked unhealthy. And then, with her first loss to Rose, she blamed it a lot on the weight cut.
Yep.
So that's always a lingering question, in my mind when it comes to Joanna fighting at this weight.
Yeah. Yeah, 100%. Yeah, it's a good point. I didn't even think of that because, you look at, our main and co-main event here. There's definitely, 2 people that I'm very worried about, making weight, and we'll get into the name there, but good point there. I think, regardless if this is on weight, this is going one of 2 ways. I think it's either a Weili Zhang knockout, or honestly, this is just a 5-round destruction by Joanna. That's how I believe it. I think either Weili puts her away early, or Joanna's going to determine the pace of this fight for 5 rounds. That's how I look at it as. But what do you think? I need your final prediction. Let's go.
Man, I think I'm gonna go with Weili.
Really? Okay.
Yeah. Yeah, I think. I don't know. I'm gonna say decision, maybe.
Decision. Okay.
Yeah.
All right. So we got Team Weili Zhang here. I think right now I think she's ahead. If you look at most polls, I know I did a poll on Twitter. The fans, thank you. I think we had like over 100 people vote on that. I think we had I think we got Whaley like over 60% right now. So, but regardless, this is going to be a fun fight. This is one you don't want to miss. You guys really get to see if Whaley Zhang lives up to the hype, or if you get to see, you want to be a 2-time champ. So this one's going to be super exciting. Can't wait for it. That's the co-main event. And then we got the main event headlined by just two sickos. We got Israel Adesanya, the undefeated Israel Adesanya, taking on, I can't even believe he's 42 years old, Yoel Romero. I think with this one, definitely a lot of controversy with this one, just because Yoel is coming off of back-to-back losses. So a lot of people were saying, why is Yoel getting the chance for a title shot? He just lost to Rob, right? He just lost to Paulo Costa. But props to Izzy, because this man goes, no one calls out Yoel Romero. I want to take him on next. I want to take down the baddest men in this division. And I couldn't be happier. I'm so excited. For the middleweight title, Izzy's, first title defense. He's taking on the scariest dude in the division. So I guess, Kev, your initial thoughts just on like Yoel getting the title shot after 2 straight losses, and then just getting into the fight.
Yeah, I mean, after Izzy beat Whitaker, the only 2 real options were Paulo Costa or Yoel for the next title fight. And I think what was Costa having an injury?
Yeah, it was like a bicep injury.
Bicep injury or whatever. And, you don't want to hold up the division. There has to be some sort of fight. And I think there can be enough of a case made for Romero for this to be, justifiable, in that he lost to Costa.
Yeah.
I mean,
which was close. It was close.
Yeah. He loses close fights. He never gets, knocked out, submitted, put away. I don't know this for a fact, but I don't think his fights are usually unanimous decisions against him. And like you said, like nobody calls him out. It's a fight that nobody wants to take. So, and a lot of people love watching him fight. From a business side of things, people are going to pay to watch him fight anybody.
Yeah.
Now that it's a title fight, I think even more so. So I think it makes sense. I think he's the right opponent.
Yeah.
At this time.
Yeah, I mean, this is a fun one, because this is, if you look at these two side by side, you can't even believe they're in the same weight class. It's insane. Yeah. Yoel is built like a friggin' brick shithouse. Israel's got that, John Jones, very lanky, Anderson Silva body type. Izzy just obviously a phenomenal kickboxer. I think the biggest question for him was, what's he going to do against, a high-level wrestler, right? He proved that against Gastelum, going 5 tough rounds, basically almost finishing Gastelum in the 5th, winning the interim title. And then people said, no way is he getting past Robert Whitaker. Whitaker just went friggin' 10 rounds with Yoel Romero. And then he makes the Whitaker fight look easy. And from there, I kind of told myself, I don't think I could ever doubt this guy again. Until he called out Yoel Romero. Because this fight's scary. I mean, when I look at Yoel, he's a different kind of wrestler than, a Gastelum, a Whitaker. I know Whitaker beat Romero twice. Both of them were close. Arguably, that second fight could have went to Romero. That could have went either way. But Romero's so strong. And I don't think Izzy's dealt with anyone like this. There's a lot of people out there. I put out a poll. I think Izzy has got 70% of the votes that he's going to beat Romero, which is crazy. I think this fight is going to be closer than people think. Because if you look, I compare this to the Gastelum fight. This was a hard-fought fight, 5 rounds. Both guys getting knocked down. Izzy getting taken down, getting back up. I think this is how this fight's going to go. Izzy's confident he can knock out Yoel. I'm going to go Yoel on this one. I really am. I think he's going to come in. Do we have Zach coming in right now?
Wow. Look at
Wait,
this.
this is hilarious.
Middle of podcast.
Mid
Made it
podcast.
to the end, though.
This has never happened before. As soon as I said Yoel Romero, this kid joins.
Yeah, he wakes up.
All right, well, we'll just Zachary.
Oh, wow.
Oh my God.
What's up, guys?
Listen, back by popular demand, Flatline MMA fans, your favorite, you guys wanted him back on, our boy Zach, with his new look. Oh, man.
What's up? Sorry, guys.
Well, you just came in at the best time. We're just talking a little Izzy, Yoel Romero. I just gave my pick. I'm going Yoel Romero. And you know what? I'm thinking it's going to be a knockout, baby.
Wow.
Yeah, I would pick Yoel just because every time I pick against him, he wins, and then when I pick him, he loses. So I'm gonna pick Yoel this time. Who you guys thought won the Paulo Costa fight with him?
I think it could have went either way, but honestly I did give it to Costa. I did. I thought Yoel got too cocky at the end and started put his tongue out and doing weird things when he probably could have been more aggressive, and I think that's why he lost the fight. But dude, I respect the shit out of Costa because he went 3 just hard fought rounds with Yoel. But yeah, we were just kind of talking about Yoel coming off back-to-back losses, getting the title shot. He was really the only one next in line, so we think it's definitely the right move. But I brought up the point, the size difference is crazy. Yoel's wrestling is very different than Gastelum's, than the Whitakers. I think he's fighting a different animal here. I love the confidence from Izzy saying he's going to knock him out in 1, knock him out in 2. I don't know. Yoel's a man that I don't think it's as easy to put him away as Izzy thinks, but Izzy proved me wrong plenty of times, so it's hard to go against him, but I'm going to say Yoel Romero. So, Kev, who do you think? Who do you got in the fight?
Yeah. I mean, you think Yoel with such a clear wrestling advantage, that would be kind of his go-to. And same thing with Whitaker and Gastelum. Everyone wants to stand and strike with Adesanya, and it doesn't. I don't know. I don't understand the game plan behind that, but I would like for Romero to try and wrestle with him, but I don't see that happening. I think he's gonna try to stand and strike with him, and I think Izzy's gonna pick him apart. He is durable, but we said the same thing about Whitaker.
Yeah.
With Izzy's accuracy, I don't want to say it, but I think Izzy might knock him out.
Really? Okay.
Because we have seen him put down in fights before.
Yeah.
He hasn't. I don't know if he's actually ever been knocked out, but he has been knocked down.
Yeah.
In that Tim Kennedy fight, couldn't even get off the stool at the end of that round, right?
Yeah, I remember that.
Yeah.
Early in his career, he got KO'd, but other than that, it's been him KOing everyone else, which is crazy. Yeah, I mean, I look at Romero and I'm like, how the hell do you stand across the octagon and look that guy in the eye and be like, I'm gonna somehow beat him? You have to be an absolute. That's why I have so much respect for Whitaker, because he went 10 rounds with him, and you don't. And what I'm worried about Izzy in this one is, unless Izzy makes this look easy, you don't get out of the octagon the same way you went in with Yoel Romero. We saw it with Whitaker. You know what I mean? We've seen it with. Look at guys like Weidman, who took a fucking knee to he freaking cut his whole head open.
Yeah.
That was the craziest flying knee I've ever seen. Obviously, other than Jorge, whatever. But yeah, Yoel Romero is 42 years old. I think he's definitely itching for that belt. He said he's gonna fight till he's past 50. He wants to beat Bernard Hopkins. It's insane. He wants to be the Bernard Hopkins of MMA, which is that's scary to think about. The thing where I see Izzy having the advantage, Yoel does gas, and we saw that in the Costa fight. So I'm curious to see that. But all right, so we got Romero. Zach, who'd you say?
I picked Romero, but I think Kev makes a good point about, Izzy's really good at managing the distance.
Mm-hmm.
So we'll see how Yoel can close in on him. I mean, I agree that I think he would want to get in tight, and I try and take him down. I mean, I feel like he doesn't use his wrestling as much now, but
yeah. Yeah, to me, it all depends on Romero's game plan coming in. If he thinks he's going to stand and strike the entire fight, then I think that's a losing game plan. But if he can, strike a little bit, clinch, maybe tire him out, try for takedowns, I'd really like to see Izzy on his back, because he talks about his jiu-jitsu all the time, how great it is.
Mm-hmm.
I would really like to see, because I've never seen him, on the ground in a fight for too long anyway.
Yeah.
So I'd kind of like to see that happen, but I honestly think Romero's just going to try to slug it out with him.
What's going to be crazy about this, which I don't know if you guys are worried. I'm worried about Yoel's weight cut, because can you imagine if we get back-to-back weekends of challengers missing weight and not being able to win the belt, and then they win? Like, can you imagine Yoel puts in the work, finally getting that title shot again, missing weight again, and then he can't win the belt, and then he knocks out Izzy or something? That'd be wild.
Yeah.
But I'm hoping this time he's got the weight under control. This isn't his first time going for the title. Like, you got to be disciplined here. But this is going to be, I think, this is going to be a hell of a fight. And if Izzy can get through this, I don't think I could ever doubt him again. He's going to be reigning for a long time. I think if he can take out Yoel, I think he can take out, Costa. I think he just shreds through the division, honestly. And then 2021, he works his way to fight John Jones. I really believe that. But if this kid can do it, he's impressive. And he's, already got that, obviously being from overseas, like, he's got huge support system behind him, and he could be like a superstar, like a Conor McGregor, like a Khabib, you know what I mean? Because this kid talks the talk. He's undefeated. Like, what he's doing is crazy. So main event, that's going to be wild. The 2 title fights. Zach, since you just came in, prediction for Weili Zhang and Joanna, go.
Oh, I'm picking Joanna for sure.
Really? Okay.
I think that she's best when she's counter striking, and I think that Weili will just try and wade in. It'll be similar to the Andrade Joanna fight, where she just picked her apart on the counter strike. But we'll see. I don't think we haven't seen a lot of Weili Zhang to know. So
yeah,
that's true. And that was something I was kind of thinking about too. You get this rising star, so everybody thinks that they'll never be beat. We kind of thought that with like a Darren Till, or something like that. Like, he was undefeated, he beat Cerrone, and everybody thinks he's going to beat Tyron Woodley, and then he gets completely destroyed in that fight. So I mean, it could be that case. I had Weili Zhang, because I just see, I don't know, Joanna with her weight cuts always kind of scares me. Even though she won her last fight, she didn't look great on the scales. And, she's got more losses than wins, in her past, what 5 fights.
Look at who she's fought, though. I mean,
No, that's true. She did take a chance with Valentina. So you got to respect her for that, going up a weight class and
taking on her.
Fighting somebody like that. Zhang's definitely got the power, though. Those elbows, man.
Yeah,
brutal.
Yeah,
she lands like that counter elbow.
Yeah,
she's an absolute monster. I know Joanna's been kind of getting under her skin too. I think she's been making jokes about the coronavirus and stuff. And I don't think you should be doing that to a girl who hits as hard as Weili Zhang. I don't think you should piss her off like that. But that one's gonna be fun. So yeah, we have 2 for Weili, 1 for Joanna. I mean, regardless, both of these fights, man. Whether it's and new and still whatever, I'd kind of be happy with any result, to be honest, because love Izzy, love Yoel, love Weili, love Joanna. Obviously, she's a friggin' beast. So I really don't care. If you're a fight fan, watch these 2 fights, because this is gonna be a barn burner. So super excited about that. UFC 248 live pay-per-view. Buy it. And then just real quick, today we had 2 big fight announcements, which I think bring some divisions into perspective here. We get Peter Yan taking on Marlon Moraes, headlining UFC debut in Kazakhstan. So that's an interesting one because they just released Henry Cejudo versus Jose Aldo for the bantamweight title. These two guys are, Peter Yan specifically, he was, one of the number one contenders that kind of got snubbed, for Jose, which I think a lot of people don't agree with, but Jose's a legend and he arguably won that fight against Moraes, so he could have just given it to him anyway. So that was going to be huge because Peter Yan is a absolute savage. So obviously we'll dive in deeper to that one when it gets announced. And then recently, like literally right before we started the podcast here, Dustin Poirier agrees to fight Dan Hooker at UFC San Diego in May. I'm so excited about that one. I mean, that's like, you'd think Poirier would kind of sit on the sidelines, see what happens with, Conor next or whatever, but props to him. That's a dangerous fight. Dan Hooker is on an absolute tear right now. Obviously, just coming off that fight with Paul Felder, which could have went either way, but he showed his toughness, hometown guy, taking on Dustin Poirier, who, obviously just fought for the title. So that's a fun one because the Diamond is a beast. Hangman's a beast. So bet all of your money there's a knockout in this one. I can friggin' guarantee it. So we'll get that one. We'll dive into that one a little bit deeper when that comes, but a ton of news. The weekend belongs to UFC 248. So watch it, buy it, do whatever. Boys, you got anything?
No.
Awesome. Well, listen, until next time, Flatline MMA. Peace.